What is going on, guys? It's Reflex here, and I just want to preface this video first by saying this is a theory. I'm not like HMK or really every other person that makes theory videos. I don't do as much research as everyone. I just like to go with the flow and kind of get excited with what I keep thinking in my head canon, which sometimes works out, other times not so much, but still is fun to do. But that's the whole reason why I don't make a lot of theory videos in the first place. Two, the power in my house is actually off. There was extremely high winds here in Ohio, and I was one of the unfortunate ones that has their power off, which it seems like it's going to be off for like a day or two. So luckily my laptop was still alive, but I'm not going to be able to edit any videos possibly unless I download something. But I'm really used to Sony Vegas at this point. I don't want my videos to be complete ass, so it just really depends. It's up to what happens. I'm also afraid for my PS5 because it was also on at the same time, and I heard about the bug that when they have you repair your extended storage, sometimes it bricks your console. And well, my extended storage was plugged in there at the same time, so it's an interesting time, honestly. Like, it's like if my PS5 were to actually break, I don't know how I would react, to be quite honest. But we'll just have to hit that if that time comes. But cross your fingers and hope everything is fine when the power turns back on. Should be, depending on when this video goes up, if I am able to edit it on my laptop, then it shouldn't take too long to go up. But I had so many plans on, I believe it was Sunday. This video will probably go up on a Monday, but yesterday I was planning on uploading a whole bunch of videos. Well, just one, but like recording a lot, and then also playing a lot of games like Spider-Man Miles Morales and Demon Souls, and just actually sitting down and playing a lot, which I mean I have been doing that for the past few days. But maybe it's a blessing in disguise that actually I'm not able to touch my PS5, so maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. But now let's get right into the actual topic of the video. I know you guys have been waiting. You're probably like, oh, why are you still talking? But I think, and this is just my headcanon, but I believe that Kairi's potential as a Keyblade wielder, and this is spoilers ahead of Melody of Memory. I should have prefaced this by saying that at the beginning, but if you have not beat Melody of Memory or anything, do not continue forward until you beat it, so you understand, as well as so you just don't get spoiled. I don't want to spoil anyone, but that is your warning. But yes, I believe that Kairi as a Keyblade wielder has the potential to be the greatest Keyblade, or at least the strongest Keyblade wielder there was. And why I say this is because with Sora, you could consider him the second choice because Riku was the first choice, but he let himself get taken by darkness. He just was like, I want that. And then there was Sora that got it. And Sora's strong, but he just has that, not mental block, but he cares about his friends so much to the point where he will take the consequences to the point where he can't really reach his true potential. Like, for instance, at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, he disappeared for the consequences of saving Kairi. Now, I would have did the same thing. I think I would be pretty safe to say that we would all have done the same thing if we were in Sora's shoes. I mean, let's just be real. And with Riku is seeming like he's now, I would say, the strongest Keyblade wielder out of everyone as of right now. I think he's stronger than Aqua. I think his ceiling is still apparent, and he's able to go even further up there to become even stronger. But when it comes to Kairi, like even Axel, for instance, and I did hear the news about Axel's voice actor, we won't get into that. But as for Axel, I also believe that his ceiling is high, but it's definitely not as high as Sora's, definitely not as high as Riku's. Like, it's a short ceiling, but I still think he could be badass in the future if they continue down that storyline and let you play as him, which they probably won't, to be quite honest. But with Kairi, her ceiling, I believe, is abnormally higher than everyone else, and she is getting trained, as we hear by the end of Melody of Memory, when Kairi's talking to Yen Sid. She is asking if she can continue her training with Master Aqua. Now, Aqua, I mean, she's a strong Keyblade wielder in herself. Now, do I think she's as strong as like Sora and Riku? I think she may be like 2 steps down below them, but she does have everything needed to be a great teacher and even teach Sora or Riku a thing or two. But she's going to be teaching Kairi. She's going to be training with Kairi, and I feel like that is the perfect teacher for Kairi, because not only do they go way far back. For instance, like Aqua is the reason that Kairi was able to wield a Keyblade in the first place. So they already have that connection as it is. So they're already going to be perfect student and teacher duo. But then we have to think of one thing: the Princess of Heart. Now, we only know that Princess of Hearts, all 7 of them, have only been needed to open Kingdom Hearts. But what happens if there's more to it? What happens if there is just more to that title that we just don't know about? Maybe Kairi could be having a certain set of abilities that we have no idea because we have not seen them yet. Nomura has not written them down yet. Maybe something to do with that. Or, I mean, for all we know, that was it. Princess of Hearts, that was it. But Kairi's still one of those. They brought it up in Melody of Memory again, which was kind of cool. It was interesting to hear that title once again after a very long time of not hearing it since, I believe, Kingdom Hearts 2 they brought it up again, but other than that we haven't heard it since. But let's say, for instance, how Sora and Riku has the power of waking. What happens if Kairi has the power of Princess of Heart? If you mix together the Princess of Heart power that could mean something possibly in the future of Kingdom Hearts, what happens if you mix that with being a Keyblade wielder and then you have these different abilities? Maybe she'll be the key to bringing Sora back. Because Mickey and Yensid and Riku all were pretty much saying, like, you cannot go, to try to save Sora. That is Riku's job. And Riku probably can't do it. But what happens if Riku gets disappeared, during the process of this? Or what happens if he can't do it and they need something else to bring him back? What happens if it's Kairi? The training with Aqua, they train for, we'll say, year, 6 months, whatever it may be. They do some hyperbolic time chamber style stuff and they train a long time in a little time. So imagine the power of waking, but in a different extent where it's the Princess of Heart power, where maybe she has Oracle abilities from like Final Fantasy 15 where you can pretty much heal someone of, I guess in that sense it was healing them of their sins, but like it's more healing them and maybe bringing them back to life possibly. Doing something where she's just literally a healer, the ultimate healer, because she's a Princess of Heart. And that's why I see her ceiling being as high as it is, because when you look at her fight, like obviously in Kingdom Hearts 2 when she first got her Keyblade, she didn't train at all. She literally just got it. It appeared in her hand. So obviously she wasn't going to know how to use it. But when it came to Kingdom Hearts 3, before the Remind DLC, we see her and we see a little bit of something, but she was only getting bodied. And I thought that was an interesting choice when they showed only those situations, because I'm like, well, you're showing her train all this and then she's getting bodied left and right. But then the Remind DLC is when we finally see what Kairi is actually capable of. And as a Kairi fan, up till KH3 Remind, I was thinking in my head, like, what is up with Nomura writing Kairi? Why is she just always a damsel in distress? She has the potential to be a great Keyblade wielder. I was even saying this back then. I was like, she has the potential to be a badass character. Maybe not heroic style badass, but maybe a healer, a different style of being heroic. There's always a different way to win a war, and there's so many roles, and she could just take a specific role. And then it gets to Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind where we see, oh, so she got it like that. She actually got it like that, to where she's doing stuff that we see Sora doing left and right. But obviously hers is a little bit less effective because she's not perfect with it yet. She still needs training. But when we do see glimpses of her like hitting her attacks and all this, and you're seeing like, oh, so you training because it's looking nice. But then fast forward again to Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory when she's facing Xehanort. Now, no one has really truly 1v1 Xehanort. It was always 1v3 where Xehanort's versus Sora, Donald, and Goofy. You see Mickey come in there. They're attacking him one by one, but they finally take him down when everyone works together to stop Master Xehanort. But there was a time in Melody of Memory where Kairi stood right before Master Xehanort, and they go way back. They go way back than we even ever thought they would. But it just so happens they actually had a little 1v1 battle for, I would say, a 3-minute battle, it seemed. Maybe even longer. I mean, I didn't time it. But they had their battle, and man, Kairi was looking like she has more of an arsenal again. And it looked like she trained even more in that year of being asleep somehow. She honed her skills. I mean, I feel like I wouldn't even be able to wield a Keyblade being asleep for a year. But somehow she was able to be asleep that whole year and still be able to fight. I guess it is in your dreams, so you can really do whatever you want. So that is one grain of salt you can take, that maybe she was only fighting that way because it was in her dreams. I don't know. But regardless, she was holding her own against Master Xehanort. And while she didn't really hit him a single time, it was more of seeing the heart there to be able to not be scared. We seen her face, or we seen her have the PTSD that was, seeing Terranort and not being able to really even stand up to him. She was just like frozen in fear. And then we see a little hesitation against Xemnas until Kingdom Hearts Remind. Then we see that she actually fights a little bit, but there was always this brief hesitation. But then with Master Xehanort, it seemed like she was fighting more almost with anger, to where she wasn't hesitating, but in fact she was pushing the ball forward, but maybe too preemptively, where she was just fighting blindly. But that fighting blindly honestly was keeping up with Xehanort. Even though Xehanort was grabbing the Keyblade every single time, there has to be a mixture of her hesitating versus her pushing the ball forward, which is her just not thinking. Which, this is going to sound weird, but Ultra Instinct, if Master Aqua can literally teach her how to just have a calm mind while fighting, and even Aqua, for instance, has a little PTSD, but you expect that for what she's gone through. But if they can make Kairi calm down and have her just like clear the thoughts out of her mind when she's training and hone her skills, she can literally be the greatest Keyblade wielder of all time. I ain't gonna lie, she could be that, because Riku, he's almost at that point, but you can also see where he does have that tendency, the same as Sora, where he fights for his friends, and that's not a bad trait. But fighting for your friends also makes you do kind of like, you just make these decisions that doesn't necessarily mean they're good decisions, so you could end up losing a battle that way. Sora kind of did that, where he wanted to fight for his friends, but he kept seeing them get rocked one by one when they were first facing Terranort, or, well, it was really that little Cyclone of Heartlesses. I forgot what they called that. Don't blame me. I'm out of power, so I don't even know how to research at this point. But, Sora was seeing all his friends get clapped, and then kind of was having his own little PTSD moment where he was like, I can't save them. And obviously he ended up fixing it and all that. But Kairi, if Master Aqua can teach her to just hone all those skills, kind of fight without conflict, and also we see anything power or anything Princess of Heart related, oh boy, I feel like that's where it could be going, because they brought it up again, obviously to kind of tell the story a little bit for newcomers, but I also feel like they could bring it up that Princess of Heart means something more than just unlocking Kingdom Hearts, but maybe unlocking yourself to the point where you can pretty much, I don't exactly know what I would want her abilities to be. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think. If there were Princess of Heart abilities that you could do as a Keyblade wielder, what would you want them to be? I feel like it would be more healing based, so she could probably do a different version of Power Awakening where she could be responsible for restoring the form. Like Fairy Godmother said that she couldn't restore the form of, we're just gonna call her Stella, but she's a star right now because she lost her form. But imagine that Kairi can just give her form back. She can bring back Sora. Imagine she just has those abilities that towards the end of the game it's looking shaky, Riku can't figure it out, can't do nothing, and then Kairi steps in. That's all I want, bro. That is all I want, is for Kairi to finally get what she deserves. She's getting it slowly. Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind was a start. Melody of Memory was great, but it wasn't necessarily what I wanted, other than the cutscenes. The cutscenes were immaculate. I loved every moment of that. But when it came down to a Kairi game, I need her to be playable in either a mainline game or a side game, whichever one. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. But let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think. What are your thoughts? Do you think Kairi's going to be, have the potential to be the strongest Keyblade wielder, or do you think she'll be stuck where she is right now? Do you think that her story is going to be expanded even further, or do you think this was the extent of her story and it's really just going to be kind of Riku and Sora from here on out? Just let me know your thoughts down below, and if you guys did enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe, and you guys know the drill. I will see you guys later.